Hello, guys. Now, today I will be discussing the meaning of life, questioning reality, and the importance of subconsciousness. Now, pretty extreme things. So, first off, the meaning of life. What is the meaning of life? Well, it's whatever you want it to be. I mean, it's in the Bible, and it's in, many cartoons. What is the meaning of life? And then the credits roll, and you never find out the answer. It's in programs, books, whatever. I think the meaning of life is being yourself. Because if you be yourself, you've got the perfect life. You've done what you wanted, you've found your true potential. So, the meaning of life is to do whatever the hell you want, good or bad. You've done it. You've served your purpose after 80 years of hopefully a good life. You pass away and you go wherever you go. The reason I'm doing this is because I'm a very strange person. Not like in normal sense, but when it comes to like open thinking and stuff. And I'm about to finish year 11. Well, not really, I've got about 6 months left. But I've done a couple of tests and I'm really, really finding it quite hard to decide what to do after year 11. And it's very hard, and it's stupid that anyone could think that you decide what you want to do and what career paths you want to do when you're a child. I'm 15. I'm one of the youngest in the year, actually. Questioning reality. Now, this is a very interesting topic. The fact that we're living in the idea of the spectator on all of us humans. They're observing us, and it's actually like we're codes. We're binary codes inside a supercomputer, but the computer's undetectable to us. So we might think about it, because I am now, but we don't know how to get there, or we don't know where it is, and we don't know about it, and everything like that. So it's quite a weird, outlook on reality, and it's kind of sort of asking, are we even real? We might just be a fragment of someone's imagination, or their past, or just their thoughts, even just their thoughts. We could be, although we're supposedly in a universe, that universe might be, 0.0001% of someone's thoughts and thinking. We might be in someone else's brain, and they've created a whole other realm of beings. We are a being. We're a physical being. I can feel myself, even if it's real or not. I can feel myself, showing that I'm a physical being. But are we actually real? That's the question. You ask yourself this all the time, and not many people, think about these things, and it's interesting too, because you know that it's quite different, and it's not really the norm. Another idea is that Einstein actually said that reality is an illusion. Now, although he's super intelligent, you never know, he might have just said it to distract us or just confuse people like me, but, I'm pretty sure it's quite plausible. The idea that consciousness is actually built up by your perception of the world is actually built up by your own consciousness. So, you actually create your own world, in a sense. Everyone you see around you are real, but they're not aware that they're in this world. They're in their own world, but they have the same physical and chemically and biological appearance that you see them as, but they're not real in this world. They're only your imagination. You only make them up. You only make up the room that's around you, and only make up the things that come into your eyesight. You subconsciously make up things that come into your line of sight, and then they disappear. Things like that. Now, that's a very interesting fact, because if, of course, this is true, that means that if it is created by the mind, it must be predetermined, meaning that you can make up what goes on. You can make up if your friend comes and knocks on your door, you can try and sort of print that into your head, that you can make that up, and you can now, like, from subconsciously, you can learn to consciously say, oh, I want my friend to knock on my door and come over and play GTA with me, something like that. So it's very strange, the fact that the idea of your perception actually being all in your mind, and your consciousness being the whole idea of the reality is in your consciousness. So it's actually your brain that produces whatever to produce this, to produce the visual image and the sounds and everything around you. It could be, for all you know, all in your head. Now, I look at stuff a lot like this because, there's always an alternative. There's always two sides to a story. You've got the stuff that you're taught at school, the very borderline things that, you supposedly need. I beg to differ, you need most of it. You might need some. Well, you might need some, you do need some. Basic English and basic math. But, other stuff we're taught we don't. And we should be taught more stuff like this because, it opens minds, it makes you more creative, it just makes you think. It makes you think outside the box. It makes you think as an individual instead of a group. Now, groups are great. Group work is great because, being totally individual makes you isolated. But you also need to be a bit more individual at school, You're always working in partners, you don't find your own way to learn, stuff like that. And if we all thought the way I do and a couple of my friends do, then, I believe we'd have a generation of geniuses. We'd all find out these different things and ideas and theories. Freud's dream theory, he's one of the most famous people psychologists. He is the most famous psychologist in the world, but it's only a theory. It's only an idea that his theory of your subconscious making up your dreams is what happens. It's only a theory. So, and he just got famous through that. It's not actually a fact. So, even if people made up theories, they still could be a generation of geniuses. It's a very complex thing to talk about, and it's also very interesting. So, the next thing I'd like to say is it's not like the Matrix, but we could be the point of being in two different places at one time. So I could be sat here, I'm in my living room right now, my mum's outside on the phone talking to her brother, but I could be in another world and they're different realities, so like a parallel universe, trans-dimensional time travel, stuff like that. BioShock Infinite actually got me into this stuff, and that's pretty damn cool. And also questioning reality as far as it's not if it's real or not, but is this the wrong reality because we only use 10% of our brain. The other 90% is literally subconscious. We don't know what goes on apart from if we're dreaming, or we can find out how to meditate, astral travel, lucid dream, stuff like that. So is this small minority, this small 10%, which we assume to be real because we remember all of it, we can touch things and our hands don't go through them, but is that just what our mind makes up to be real? But our actual dreams are the things that are real, and that's what we need to focus on. You don't move in dreams in a physical body, but you move in your mind, and your mind is the whole idea. If you didn't have a mind, you wouldn't have any of this anyway. So your mind, even if you're not moving with sleep paralysis, REM sleep, all of that stuff, you could still be in a reality in your head. And then you wake up and you think it's real, but it's not. I mean, I'm not crazy. I'm just a very avid thinker. I'm a very vivid person. What if this isn't reality? You don't know. The last thing I'd like to move on to is the idea of individuality, individual's uniqueness. The more and more time progresses, people become less and less individual. They become more dependent on, for example, each other. It's not necessarily bad to be dependent on each other, but technology, I'm guilty of it, but at least I know, at least I'm aware. Stuff like that, technology, things that you need every day but you don't, like things that you think you need, like television, stuff like that. Being a unique person is a very important thing. It shows you can get on in life on your own. And I have no experience of this, but I know it's important. I know you should have your own thoughts instead of being fed through a tube knowledge that you might disagree with, that you might have to, you might be forced to understand what it is, even though you completely disagree with it. So, as far as a schooling system goes, I believe there should be an education system, but it should be different. It should be taught in different ways, a bit like a school argument. It should all be taught in different forms and different ways of thinking, avid thinking, vivid thinking, instead of just this pattern that we follow. Very interesting. What else? Yeah, that's it really. People like skepticists, like Joe Rogan, they're not famous through those because they wouldn't have any money. He's famous through commentating on UFC and doing his Questions Everything program, which was on Sci-Fi. But he also became even more famous, by being a skepticist and skepticism. And if the world had more of those, just as those jobs, like, say if I became a skepticist when I was older, just as that job, that's not a hobby, it's my actual job, we would have a world of geniuses. We'd have a world of avid thinkers, much more creativity. I mean, the world isn't completely bad, it's not awful, but, things need to change, things need to be a bit more different, independent, and, like Anonymous's famous quote, think, don't assume. They haven't said this is what I'm sort of broadening on what they've said. Don't always assume that what you're being told is not necessarily true, but the complete truth, or exactly correct. Look it up on the internet. Thank you guys, and keep watching Joe Rogan.